power of this technology goes so far beyond what like the typical like table conversation about VR gives it credit for. You know, like we talk about it as like a useful tool or an immersive, fun experience, but what we're talking about is like truly transformational.
It should be perfectly possible to trick your brain into any experience if your brain can already do that itself naturally. So VR is almost like taking that ability for our brain to generate any experience for us and like putting it in our hands, which is wild.
Man, that's something in the history books. People are going to look back and be like, yeah, 2022, 2023. That's when education, after hundreds of years, finally upgraded.
We're in a strange time where our physical worlds are intersecting with our digital identities, and right now is a time to kind of determine what you want that to be.
Once you have full body tracking that works well and it's frictionless, right? Meaning it's easy to do.
Yes.
It's a whole new. It's not a game changer, it's a whole new game.
So maybe there will be some other people who would be curious to see what I'm learning, what I'm discovering, so to say. And that's how the Discover YouTube channel started.
Oh, not really disco VR, Discover.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel bad when people ask me about VR, or they're like, what do you do? Like, all right. You asked, here it comes.
I love VR, but I love going out and breathing fresh air. And not only was I stuck in VR for 10 days, I was stuck in one room because I was streaming, the same space. I didn't see the sunlight. I totally lost track of what time everything was.
She dances with the robot. She does the first steps. She dances with that robot. She takes that thing off her face. I have the video. I'm holding it hostage. She takes it off her head and she says, I gotta have it.
There are a few moments in my life I can remember very vividly. The day I got married, the day my kids were born, the day Facebook announced that they bought Oculus is one of those days. I was making chili.
I've been in a lot of gaming communities, and the VR community is by far the best community that I've ever been involved with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. Let me tell you something, people. We're flying by the seat of our pants over here. Woo! It's exciting times on the Between Realities ship. Thanks for joining us. My name is Alex, VR. I am one half of the Between Realities crew, and the other half is the very hard-working captain of this ship. It's Skivo. What's up?
Hey, man. How are you? What's going on? Yeah, man. You too. This is, a little bit of a bittersweet day. This is the last show from our current studio, and there's some weird technical glitches going on here. So, if anything weird happens, just kind of stand by. We're going to kind of just roll with it today.
Yeah, I comment on this from time to time, but I got to say, I'm just so proud of how far you've come, man.
You mean not freaking out, sweating, and being like, oh my God.
Yeah. We've got, our Discord's crashing, and we got weird stuff going on over here, and Skiv is calm as a cucumber over here.
What can you do, man? What can you do? It is what it is.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Well, and it's beautiful to be here. Our last show out of this this studio. It's been
which doesn't mean too much for you guys. I mean, we're just gonna go park the ship somewhere else. Yeah. But this is the third location that we've done this podcast from, and I guess it'll be the fourth before long here. Yeah. So we're just gonna keep cruising. By the way, it's also kind of I don't know. We never mentioned this, but we started this show in February 4 years ago, and our 4-year anniversary just came and went. Oh dang!
We weren't paying attention. It was like 4 years of this podcast, which is insane. So, yeah, we've been doing it for 4 years. I know.
Right on. I've had nothing but fun. Just about every single episode I have truly loved. We've had some of the most amazing guests and just great people on here that have just done so much to bring the tech we love forward, and I can't wait for more.
Yep, me either. So nothing's going to change it for the audience. Like it's going to sound the same. It's going to look the same. We're not changing like our like virtual set or anything like that.
It's virtual.
Yeah, well, let's start to get the show on the road a little bit. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're live on YouTube right now. It is Friday, March 1st, 2024.
March 1st. Man, the year is cruising along. It was like just New Year.
And we're entering the busiest month ever right now for us.
Dude, I know.
Just tons of travel and like conferences and
yeah. And because of that, there won't be a show next week. Or are we pre-recording one and putting one up?
I don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see, because with the move and South by Southwest coming up, and then we'll only have a couple days when we get back before GDC. But we're gonna make it. We're gonna keep going, man.
Yep.
So, but next week there might not be a show.
Yep.
So
and I'm gonna hit Game On Expo in between South by and GDC.
All right, cool.
Which is, by the way, I am going to GDC. I was not sure if I'm going to. I am going to go now.
Heck yeah.
That's right. I'm going to be holding up the Flat to VR and Impact booth with these guys, so should be a good time. Game On Expo, I'm going to go to right after South by and between GDC. And just a shout out to Game On Expo and anybody from Phoenix. We are not going to be doing the VR zone this year.
Yeah, this will be the first year that we do not supply VR for the Game On Expo in Phoenix. Which is kind of bittersweet, I mean, geez, because it is so much work.
It is
so much work. But man, the amount of people we get into VR is absolutely nutty.
Well, and here's the big thing. When I started attending Game On Expo, there was no VR. Period. That's why we got involved, because there was like, where's the VR? Why is there no VR at a video game conference?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
So we made
We're
it
not
happen.
having it.
And since we have made it happen, the organizers of the event have realized they can't do this expo without VR anymore. And because we were unavailable, they actually went and got VR Villa, another VR company that does this professionally, to come and provide VR for the expo free of cost to the users. So it's basically like we kind of set the standard, and now, boom, it's done. And VR will be at Game On Expo from here on out. So I feel like we did a good thing.
We did. We absolutely did. Z-Storm in chat saying, you guys going to Gamescom? I am 90% sure I will be at Gamescom in Germany. Good to see that you're going to go, dude. We're going to party in Germany. That's going to be sick. Heck yeah, man. That's rad. Very cool.
So, hey, let's give a quick shout out to those who have joined us. We've got Waleed, the now Gamecat, specifically a White Tiger, the first in the chat. Thanks for being here with us, dude. I'm really excited to get into things with y'all today. Ryan B is here. Going to be a great discussion. That's right. Paradise Decay, dropping the squid. My
P. Diddy.
Homie, indeed. Adrian Parker's in chat. Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning into Between Realities. Anti-Cleric, developer of Lo-Fi, stopped in here earlier. Shout out to Blair.
What's up, Blair?
He was a guest on our podcast previously. You should go check that episode out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one.
It was
controversial.
It was. Yeah, that was a whole thing. El Diego VR in the house.
Hey,
man. Good to see you, Diego. Qcreator's here. It's the weekend. You need me to say it for you, Qcreator? Come on. Glitch Fandango in the house. Errol Burke in the house as well. Awesome Tatum is here. Silver Nexus in the way here as well.
Nice.
Red/Ace here every week. Mr. Lord Beavis, of course, and Elverts is here. Aloha, peeps.
What's up, Elverts?
What's up, dude? Substatica. Hey, players.
Hey,
what's up, Space Denizen? Sorry I missed you this week,
what's up,
dude.
Boyd?
I want to make it up. I've had some issues with VR lately, and we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Beyond Frames Entertainment is here, and not only are they here, they're dropping it. Boom. 129 Swedish schmeckles, and man, we're just so grateful for
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Shout out to Mahina from Beyond Frames Entertainment. Mepper's in the house as well. Good to see you. Mind Jive, Z-Storm Game, as Skiva has mentioned. Going to Gamescom. Congratulations, dude. Denringer, the Gamecats here with us as well. Hussein X. Jay Bratt showing love in the chat.
Hey,
Spooky
what's up, Jay
Yuki, Lincoln Clay VR, Nihilist, Ryan, the Game Feline. Whoa. Hey, thanks for joining us, Nihilist Ryan, the Game Feline. Off-Roading Yoda. Yo, what's up, man?
Hey.
Thanks for tuning into a live show. It's amazing to see you, and thanks for sharing our stuff on Instagram too, bro. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for everyone that shares our stuff. We really appreciate it.
Yep. So shout out to all of you. Substatica dropping $20. Yo, what's up, man? Thank you for that.
Hey.
So, buying yourself something frilly for the new studio. Skiva already has a lot of frilly stuff.
Yeah.
He's a frilly boy. He's a Philly boy. Wes, Virtual Strangers in the house as well. Thank you for being here.
What's up, Wes?
Shout out to Wes, man, because without Wes, I don't know if I would be able to introduce today's guest, to be completely honest. Wes is the real deal. Wes is a part of the PSVR2 Without Parole podcast squad. Yep. And we do the VR Crewcast with him. When I started VR, period, I bought a PlayStation VR. I know you did too.
Yep, same here.
And I started watching YouTube about these videos, about these games, because I was instantly obsessed with VR, as I know you were as well. I
was, absolutely.
And when I got there, there were really 3 channels that I was watching. One of them was the VR Grid with Ryan. One of them was Shughead with Chris. And the other one was PSVR Without Parole. PSVR Without Parole delivering easily the best reviews I could find.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, hands down. And, a year later, I started a podcast. 4 years after that, I finally managed to get the guy who made that channel to come on as a guest. It's pretty exciting. Yeah. So everybody, please welcome to Between Realities from PSVR2 Without Parole, Mr. Bryan Paul. Hey, Bryan. Hold on.
Oh, wait a second. Wait, we hear Bryan. Hold on just a second. For some reason, Bryan's not on our screen, but I'm going to get him up on there.
We warned you guys.
You guys are on my screen if that helps. I don't think that helps, though.
I know exactly what the problem is. Of course.
This is hilarious. This is the first time this has ever happened, by the way.
It is. It is. What a great time for that to happen.
Glitches over to your show.
There we go.
Because this is 9 years straight for me. This is like
fixed.
Yo, hey everybody, say hi to Bryan Paul. Hey Bryan, we see you now.
Man, I just want Waleed to know that, like, even though you couldn't see or hear me when you gave his name a shout out, I was here in the background meowing and swiping because I see a lot of cool cats in the chat.
Dude,
there is a lot of cool cats on the chat. You were absolutely right.
Man, there is absolutely nothing that compares to the Gamecat community. Like, I'm just going straight in for this. Like, I am blown away by the Gamecats, man. Like,
you and me both. Jesus.
It's incredible. Like, I don't. Am I getting ahead of myself? I think I'm getting.
No. I mean, it really is something so amazing because we, like you said, coming into this, we were both like PSVR is what blew us away in VR and what kind of started us to change our entire lives, not just do a podcast. Yeah. We like changed our careers. We did everything became VR related, and it was because of PlayStation VR. And now, and there's so many people that are Gamecats that the kind of the same thing happened. It changed them. It changed their lives. It changed the way they game.
Right. Like if you're in the VR community, there's no way you've been in a live chat and not seen a Gamecat. So, Bryan, can you enlighten everybody who maybe has never heard this term before? What is a Gamecat?
Bro, I have no idea. If you want the quick backstory, like, we've gone through so many co-hosts, like, and all my co-hosts, I've been super, super blessed to have amazing co-hosts throughout the years. But way back in the day, I had a co-host, Brett Zawilski, and then Jeremy King, and we did a show called the Midnight Gamescast. And there was a while where we were doing edibles before the show, just to be like, we're going to be silly and goofy and have fun. We're just still finding our way around YouTube and figuring out what we wanted to do and what we wanted to be. And one of us was so high that we were laughing so hard trying to introduce the show, saying the Midnight Gamecats, and they kept saying Gamecats instead of Gamescast over and over.
No way!
And we were dying laughing and then the next day we're all hanging around going, I think people like that. Like, should we just roll the dice and see if people want to be called Gamecats? And like, it just took off. It was very natural and stupid and awesome. And man, I feel super fortunate to be surrounded by such great people because, like, I don't know, man. Like, I wish that I was, some kind of like role model for people to look up to or something. But man, it's like, I feel like I've got more problems in my personal life or anything else. And it's like, how did all these people like surround me and like every day, like, like lift me up and get me out of bed to convince me to like make a video or get on Gamescast and like have fun and interact. Because without this community, man, like I'd be in a pretty dark place, I think. Like they really, really lifted me up over the years. You, by the way, guys, you said you had 4 years. You had 4-year anniversary, and you didn't do much about it. Don't feel bad. We just had our 9-year anniversary, and it totally went by.
What's 9? What's 9 when 10 is on the horizon?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll celebrate
Man,
10.
I want to say too that like it's funny because we started when we started, we were doing the same thing. We would get completely blazed before the shows, and the only reason we really stopped is because everyone would call out Alex. Yeah. Never me, but they'd be like, "Oh, look at how baked Alex is this week."
Well, because this podcast really did start like kind of like, and the name almost implies it, like between realities. Like we would smoke a joint out behind Skiva's crib and like start getting into like a deep conversation about VR. We're like, dude, no, wait a second. Like, do you realize that this technology means this and this and this? And eventually we were like, you know what? Other people should be able to hear this conversation because I don't hear everybody having it. So we would smoke weed before doing the podcast, and I mean, my eyes are like on the floor, and everyone's like,
Alex wears it on his shirt. Yeah, that's for sure.
You can tell. So everyone, after a few episodes of people being like, "Holy shit, look how stoned Alex is," I was like, okay, maybe I don't want it to be about that. So here we are.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'll wait till afterwards now.
Man, but dude,
well, listen,
the Gamecast, man,
that is amazing.
Gamecast,
and I want to talk about the Gamecast for a second because knowing that we were going to have you on as a guest, Bryan, I wanted to take a look a little bit at like the evolution of your channel and kind of like where you've come from and all of that. And I happened to find a couple of episodes of the Midnight Gamescast, one of which was right before you had ever tried virtual reality. You hadn't even put a headset on, and the other one was immediately after you had tried virtual reality. And if it's okay with you,
clear,
I want to quickly roll these clips and let everybody kind of look at Bryan Paul right before VR and right after. Is that cool with you?
Right. Oh, by all means, man. This is embarrassing, but fucking.
So we're gonna run this. This is from August 25th, 2016.
Yep.
That was like 100 pounds ago.
You haven't used VR.
No.
Have you used VR?
No.
I have not used VR.
No.
So
Okay,
we're all talking from like a very removed and slightly ignorant perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are people out there who've definitely tried these things. Oculus is out in the wild. HTC Vive is out in the wild.
Yeah.
PlayStation will be out in October.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I've been told, for people with glasses, it's you keep your glasses on, you put the thing on, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Whatever. You've never tried VR. Now, here's after PlayStation VR gets delivered.
But it can all be summed up. Jeremy sent me a text message after he set his up, and the text said, "This changes everything."
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't say it better myself. I expected something that was kind of low tech. I expected something that was kind of janky, a little glitchy. All the reviews about it before I got mine were meh, and I think this might be the greatest thing to happen to video games since video games existed, since they were invented.
Bryan,
man,
what is going through your head when you hear yourself listening to that?
I'm screaming in my head. Preach on, Bryan. Like you're nailing it. Like this is absolutely true. Like I still stand by this. When it's so weird that we started a podcast when we did, because I was really losing interest in regular gaming. I'm a big retro game nerd. I love my retro games, and like, around the end of the PS3 era, I started going, yeah, I've played all this before. Like I've seen all this before. This is just a different skin or bigger worlds or better resolution. I don't care. And then like PS4 came around, and I bought it day one, but I kept that feeling persisted, and when I got my VR headset, it was the shot in the arm that not only I needed to reinvigorate my passion for video games, but like also this dream fulfillment, like this promised dream that had been given to me like when I was 15 years old and saw the Lawnmower Man for the first time, and just something I've been waiting for. And it was crazy. It was almost like doing drugs for the first time, right? Because all your life you were told drugs are bad, right? Don't do drugs. They'll ruin your life. And then the very first time you do drugs, you're like, this is amazing. I understand now why people do drugs, right? And it's like, so like if the message had been delivered differently, maybe I wouldn't have done so many drugs. But it's almost like you discovered a secret world that no one really talks about. And if they do, they don't talk about the good stuff. So when PSVR came out, and like I was reading, I don't know, Kind of Funny's review or watching the IGN review before mine showed up from Amazon, and everybody's like, it's all right. It's a little low res. It's a little this. Move controllers stink. Whatever. And then I got mine, and I was like, why isn't anybody talking about how great this is? Because this is great. This is amazing. This like changes everything. Like we were saying it was like discovering the secret world and never wanting to leave. And I haven't.
Bro, that is like exactly what happened to me. Like, in fact, it's really what was the catalyst for me like starting a channel, is because I had that moment, and I didn't have a bunch of reviews telling me not to try VR. I have like been seeing it coming and established on my own that it was something that I was interested in far before any articles telling me what to think about it. So by the time I had an opportunity rolled around for me to try it, I was completely unbiased in my experience, and I was blown away. And when I went and started telling people how amazing it was, and I was getting met with, it's okay, I was like, I understand something about this that you don't. I am a couple of steps ahead of you, because there's no way you don't see how amazing this is, right? Like, what is it? Why do you think what's going through someone's mind when they're not blown away by an experience like that? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. But the crazy thing is like, I've shown people VR, and the number of people who are just like, it's not really for me. It's not really for me. And I'm talking about like my dad, who is the biggest gamer I know. Like, I'm a gamer because my dad was a gamer. Like, growing up playing Commodore 64 and Atari and like all this stuff that like was just, important to him and it became important to me. He's still a massive gamer. His son covers PlayStation VR on YouTube for a living. And so you think, when I brought my PSVR headset over, actually it was my second PSVR headset over. I was like, hey, I'm just gonna leave this here. He tried it and he's like, no, you can take it with you. I was like, what do you mean? Like, it's not even important to you because this is what I do for a living. Like, never mind the fact that you're a gamer. Right. VR is massive, but like, and he's like, I'm just not going to use it. I was like, so it's not for everybody, but I can't figure out why it's not for everybody.
To me, it's like someone brought over like Rick from Rick and Morty's portal gun, and they're like, hey, here, you can go to any existence in any dimension, anywhere in time, have fun. And some people are like, meh. It's like, what?
It's because every universe they go to is janky.
I just, even if it is, like, I don't understand. I feel like I'm living in a different dimension, in a different planet than everyone else sometimes. Like, when people don't have their minds blown like I did, I just don't get it. Like, is it a lack of foresight? Is it a I truly don't understand why this happens, and I don't know. I just can't figure it out for myself, man. I really can't. But PSVR specifically just blew me away the first time I put it on. I think the first thing I did was like the Shark Tank thing, right? On PSVR Worlds. And then the second thing, the thing that I was blown away, but then I did the London Heist, and that was it, dude. My entire life, from the time I finished the London Heist, my entire life was about to change. Yeah. It was all different from that point on.
Yeah. So what was the first like gamer experience you fired up on your PSVR 1? Brian?
It was hard because I did go in hard and ordered everything. Like, I paid $40 for Loading Human Volume 1. Like that. I bought everything that I get my hands on. But I will say, the very first thing I put in was the demo disc that came with it. Not even Worlds, just the demo disc. And if you guys know, like, White Moon Dreams program that, right? And so you get in, and one of the first things that happens is the whole world kind of melts down around you and becomes like this big white, just amazing space. And that was it. It was the menu screen from a demo disc, and I was like, I'm sold. But of course, then going into Rush of Blood right after that, I was like, this changes horror forever too. This doesn't just change gaming. This changes horror, and I'm a huge horror fan. So I still can't figure out if horror movies have gotten worse over the last 7 years, or if you just can't scare me like you used to.
Yeah,
because of VR.
Some of my favorite movies are like, I don't know if I should like rush to call them horror movies, but like when I think about some of my favorite movies, The Ring is like one of the first one that comes to my head. I love The Ring. Do you like The Ring, or what do you
like The Ring? I don't love The Ring. There was like 30 minutes about a horse that I'm still like, why is this in here?
Yeah, there's a lot of cryptic bullshit in that movie.
There just isn't a way now to like movies used to be a very immersive thing, and I was super into movies, right? They were extremely immersive. You got into the story. After VR, I stopped watching movies because I'm like, I'm not in this. It's 2D. It's on the screen in front of me. Like, it just doesn't do the same thing that it used to do to me. And I was such a movie fanatic, and this changed all that for me, because now, like, if I'm watching a movie, I'm like, what am I doing? I can be in a place right now, experiencing the story from inside of the character. Mm-hmm. And it ruins so many pieces of media for me, not just flat games, right, but also movies. And it's kind of a bummer, but like, it's another reason why I don't understand why other people don't have their minds blown like I did. Mm-hmm. You know,
so you were a horror fan before you got into VR, and then you got VR. So like was it like, were you loving it? Were you blown away by how scared you were? Like, what was your reaction?
I mean, so one of the things that caused me to start live streaming was the fact that I can only really tell people about my first experiences in Resident Evil 7. But when I played Resident Evil 7, now, and you got to remember, of course, that was dual shock only. It didn't have move support, right? So it's literally VR for visuals only. There's no in-game interactions. And I just remember being so terrified playing that game that I would stand out in the hallway and just being like, trying to like amp myself up to open a door in a game because Jack could be behind it. And I felt my heart race. My heart was racing. And I remember just hitting pause, lifting the headset up and being like, it's only a game. It's only a game. And on top of that, being like scared that I'm going to die of a heart attack, like legit scared, like not like, oh man, like, something from a video game was translating to real life, being like, this could be so scary, and there could be a jump scare behind this door that it might kill me. Like, that's where my head was at, because that's how hard my heart was beating, and that's how scared I was. And I was like, I don't think I've ever been this scared ever. I mean, maybe when I was 12 years old and I was sitting on the couch with my best friend Andrew Hickson, and we were watching a videotaped off television version of Stephen King's It for the very first time. Wow. And being like, this is terrifying. But I was 12, you know? And so you fast forward 20 something years in order for me to be that scared again. And so that's why I started live streaming, because I can only tell people about those experiences and say, this is how scared I was. You just have to trust me. And so I think that says it all.
Bro, I was snapping when you said you just couldn't go through a door. Whenever I talk about my VR horror experiences, that is the example I use. I'm like, you approach a door and you can't cross the threshold. You just can't go in. You can't go through a door. It's so scary.
Yeah. It's funny when you said you thought you could have a heart attack, because I specifically remember going into work after playing Resident Evil 7 for the first time in VR, going, I think people are going to play this and die. Like, I think people are going to have legit heart attacks, and we're going to start seeing that stuff on the news, because I had never been so scared either. Like, I remember playing this game, and every time I would go to get into a session, it was 15 minutes of me like going through like breathing exercises and like trying to convince myself, this is just a game, dude. Nothing is going to hurt you, right? And like, man, that's funny. It's funny that you mentioned the heart attack, because I was like, this game's gonna be the end of me. It's gonna be the end of a lot of people. So
I want to shift gears a little bit here, because I want to share, like, I've had some frustrating moments with VR for the past couple of days, and I just like, I ultimately I just want to vent a little bit. Sure. But like, maybe you guys can like, say something to make me feel a little better. The past, like, I don't know, I guess year or so, I've been playing a lot less VR. Like, I've just like gotten more into flat games, and I'll pop the headset on here or there, but most games are not gonna keep me like out for very long. But I'm like trying to fix that, like I miss VR gaming, and I miss playing with people, so I'm like trying to get into things more. And I've been eyeballing Legendary Tales for a while now, it's like, okay, I'm going to get into Legendary Tales. I have it on Steam. I don't currently have a PlayStation copy of it. So, I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll play on Steam, and I've got my B Haptics vest. So that's cool. So I fired up my B Haptics vest. I put it on. It wouldn't connect to my computer. I don't know.
Oh,
impossible, dude. I could not get that thing to connect to the bHaptics player. So that's
really
one.
And you used to work for bHaptics.
Yeah, exactly.
You told people how to make it work.
I even went and tried to look at my own videos from years ago to see if I was missing a step. But eventually I just conceded. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah. I'm not wearing my vest. So I went to go fire up Legendary Tales and fatal error on startup. Every single time.
What?
Could not get into the game. Reinstalled it. Uninstalled it. Reinstalled it. Fatal error on startup again. So I think it might have
PC gaming, am I right?
It sucks.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with me using the Quest 3 or something. I don't know, dude.
Well, I mean, the problem with PC gaming is it is attached to a PC, and PCs have problems. And if you don't blow it away and reinstall Windows every once in a while, you're just gonna keep compounding all of these PC errors. I sometimes experience the same thing, but I will usually go in every couple months sometimes and just blow away my machine and completely start over, because I want every frame. I want all of that. And it's a bummer that these problems have kind of eaten into your VR time, because that's too bad, because I still couldn't live without. And
to Brian's
VR.
Point, he's like, PC gaming, bro. I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right. And I've been thinking a lot about Zenith lately. That's why I wore my shirt today, because I'm like, you know what, Zenith, there's a bunch of updates. I'm pretty sure it's free to play, download now. So I went to go do that on my PlayStation VR. Impossible. Where is it? I searched it on the store. I'm looking for links. I literally could not download that game. Couldn't find it.
On PSVR 2.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you right now, all for the best. They have not given that game love on PSVR 2. I think it plays worse than PSVR 1.
No way.
Until they fix that game, I'm banning it.
Whoa.
Screw it. We've got so many beautiful games on PSVR 2. We've seen what the hardware is capable of.
Yeah.
If you're releasing a PSVR 2 version of a game that somehow looks and plays worse than it does on PSVR 1, you've screwed up. No Man's Sky. Right? Well, hopefully it gets the No Man's Sky treatment, because No Man's Sky is beautiful now, right?
It is
beautiful.
And if anybody out there has successfully downloaded this game for PSVR 2, let me know. Tell me something, because it was a pretty frustrating 20 minutes where I'm searching on the store, on my app, on my PlayStation. I'm going to the web browser and signing in and seeing if I can get it to link, and I could not get this.
Z-Storm says Zenith went offline for a day the other day, but it's on the store now. That's interesting. I wonder, maybe they had to pull it off for the new version or something. Oh,
this morning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
So anyway, I even went to the Discord and I was searching, and I could not find anything.
Screw the PlayStation Store, right? While we're pissing all over PC gaming, I'm gonna piss all over the PlayStation Store. Sony's got to fix that. It's a horrible experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it really is. So anyway, it's been a frustrating couple of days, but coming back to your comment about PC VR gaming, are you gonna PC VR game when the PlayStation VR 2 is working with PC? What's?
I mean, Wes makes me do it every so often. So it's not something I'm unfamiliar with. I played the Overdark demo on it the other day, and it was it was all right, and it's fine. But this is where I know not everybody's in the same boat, and I make fun of PC gaming, but I know people love it. And so the reason I don't like it isn't really because of the technical issues. It's because I sit in front of a computer all day. I'm scripting here, I'm doing voiceovers here, I'm editing videos here, I'm doing live streams here. And guess what? When I am not doing work, when I'm not doing that and I want to go play a game, I don't want to be sitting in front of my computer. I want nothing to do with this computer. In fact, almost every time I try to game on my computer, it screws up something for my work, audio settings or something. And so I'm just let's leave work over here and let's do gaming over here. And it makes my life easier. But I can totally understand why people love it.
Yeah. So you're no real plans on getting involved.
I mean, with the recent announcement that Sony's trying to make PSVR 2 work on PC, I've obviously got to delve back into it and see just how easy it is and exactly how well they implement these plans. But it's going to be very situational. I'm certainly not going to be switching the focus of the channel, guys. It's all PC VR on PSVR 2. No, I don't care at all. It'll be nice to be able to have an easier way. I've got my Quest 3, right? So I've already got an easy way to access PC VR games. Right. But yeah, it won't be something I do on a regular basis.
Word. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine like being a PSVR only channel has its benefits and also has its drawbacks, right? Like, especially when PSVR is just, for whatever reason, and maybe some reasons that we can start to identify, just absolutely getting hammered right now in terms of like the press and stuff that it's getting. In fact, just either this morning or yesterday, IGN shared a post saying, "Oh man, things are looking bleak for PlayStation VR 2." You know, like, that's like, does that take a toll on you as like a PSVR creator, where like your channel is solely revolved around this headset?
No, if IGN doesn't want to cover it, guess who will? Right? I mean, all they're doing is giving me a job. Yeah, and like, so what, it sucks because they are controlling the narrative, which is inaccurate. They're controlling the narrative and telling people who might be on the fence, hey, this isn't something that you want. Mm-hmm. Right? If you're like, oh, I was wondering if PSVR 2 is worth it, or if a Black Friday sale comes up and it's $100 off, like people who would be like, oh, I'm not going to buy it at $550, but at $400 maybe I'd pick it up, you know, but then they have this IGN article in their head, right? So it sucks that like we're not, you know, getting it into the hands or on the heads of more people who would enjoy it. It sucks that IGN is sort of roadblocking that, but it's not just IGN; it's everybody, right? It's this ridiculous. Like, I'd rather not do the work and check out the library and figure out if there's any good games here. I'd rather just regurgitate stuff that Meta emailed me, or that I've been hearing from other people who also don't know anything, and that's where it gets frustrating. However, there was a worry that I had before PSVR 2 came out that said, if this thing hits the mainstream and IGN starts covering it and GameSpot starts covering it and Kind of Funny starts covering it and Last Stand Media starts covering it, I don't have a job anymore, right? Like, I was like, if everyone's going to cover it, like, what do you need me for? And I was fully prepared for that to happen.
Yeah, but so I guess what it comes down to is like there's a correlation between the health of the headset and your success as a creator. To a certain degree, right? Like, do you foresee this headset and this ecosystem and this, you know, whatever, like, existing strongly enough, you know, to where you can like get what you're looking to get out of this situation? Or do you ever worry that like this kind of thing will impact what you're doing?
I mean, PlayStation VR 1 was dead for like 3 years. Right. Yeah. I mean, there were massive times during that life, especially, I mean, the last 2 years, it was essentially dead. And there were definitely so many dry points in the middle that if you total them all up, I mean, I think there was about 3 years of dead time. And somehow my channel is fine. I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know why that is. I think it's because I'm always trying to cover the games that no one else cares about. You know, small little one-person indie studio games, and so that there's, you know, there's always content to make. There's always conversations to have. But the fact that the community, again, lifted me up during a time that I should not have had a job. There's no reason for my channel to exist. Means that, you know, no matter how rough things get, I think it'll be all right. Dude,
amen, man. And like you really hit the nail on the head. Like, it is about community. Like, that's why your channel is so, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's enough people with PlayStation VR 1s, even to this day, to warrant a YouTube channel covering it exclusively. You know, like, there's a lot of people still playing PSVR 1 games. You know what I mean? So maybe they're not mainstream. Maybe they're outnumbered by Quest users, but there are plenty out there. But it really is community. You know, like, that's what we've strived to curate here at Between Realities, is like a community of people who are all passionate about the same thing. And I really believe that that is the like number one thing that makes PSVR Without Parole what it is the community is incredible. And people are coming back for you guys. They're coming back because they love you guys, because they feel connected to you guys, because you've found a way to authentically share this content about the stuff that you're passionate about. And even if they're not putting the headset on every day, they still want to hear from you. They want to hear from the Without Parole crew, you know? And I think that that's a good thing. You know, I think hopefully you're proud of what you've managed to create, because like I said at the beginning of the show, there is nothing in the VR space like the Gamecats. It is a literal army. It's amazing.
I mean, I'm super proud of the community. That's very proud of them. And like, I mean, I can wake up in the middle of the night and just head over to my computer and see the general chat on our Discord, just like there are people talking about God knows what, but there's people there just hanging out and having fun, and like, this is crazy. Like, when I'm not around, like, the community's just thriving and interacting with each other and having a good time, and you know, like, I think, I mean, I want to give all my moderators are amazing, but I do want to give a special shout out to my moderator Nick, who has made our Discord like a place for multiplayer games to happen. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, if you want to go play a PSVR2 multiplayer game, like, he's assigned roles that you can assign for yourself, and then, like, if you want to play Walkabout Mini Golf at 2 a.m., you can tag everybody who's got that role and see if anybody wants to play a game of Walkabout at 2 a.m. Like, it is the ultimate place to play PSVR2 games. So, I mean, like, special shout out to Nick, but all my moderators are awesome.
Yeah, you've got an amazing crew and a lot of passionate people who, you know, kind of like are all gears in the grandfather clock that is PSVR Without Parole. And, you know, I'm curious because, you know, those clips that we showed at the beginning, that's from it was like 6 years ago, you know, 7 years ago. And like, you know, it's obvious that you've gone through a different cast of characters over the years. Like, in its current state, like, how did all of your crew kind of end up with you? Like, is it all people that you pulled like out of your viewership, you know, or like, how did you connect with like AJ and all those guys?
Man, that is a wild question. Yeah, I mean, AJ was just, you know, obviously a big part of the community, and was just always around, and you could just tell how passionate he was. And one day, you know, after communicating online for such a long time, like, I just gave him my phone number, and he called me up, and we had like it must have been like a 3-hour conversation about video games, right? And he not only had the passion for like PSVR 1, but it was also, you know, like we had a shared love of horror games and horror movies and retro games, and we just connected on so many different levels. And I was like, you know, by the end of that phone call, I was like, this dude's going to be one of my best friends. Like, I just knew it, like, without ever having met him in person. You know, it's like, and then Wes, I think was Wes was pretty organic too, because I just watched Virtual Strangers a lot. And when AJ had to go down from, you know, working 3 days a week being on Gamecast 3 days a week to 1 day a week, you know, immediately I just reached out to the people that I thought would be a good match, you know, not expecting anybody to say yes. And I just immediately was like, man, Wes is so relaxing to listen to, and like so well versed on all of the topics that he brings up, and I've always loved his opinions, whether I agree with them or not. I love hearing him talk about video games, and so I reached out to him, and he was like, sure, let's do it. I was like, oh, wow, okay. I didn't expect that, you know? And Miles is just a consummate professional, man. Like, he'll send videos to people that he's never met. Like, he'll send videos instead of just sending a message being like, hey, I love your channel, or I love what you're doing, you know. He'll make a video personalized to you, and then he'll email it to you. And so he's just really, really good at that whole like social interaction thing, you know, especially when it comes to this digital age that it's so difficult to make these personal connections in. Yeah, he found a way. And so one day I just woke up to an email or a DM or something with a video from him introducing himself. I was like, that's so cool. I'm like, you're just good at this social media thing, aren't you? And the answer was yes. And so he and I talked a lot, and you know, he found the rest is history. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been. I've been, like I said at the beginning, I've been so blessed to have such a great, you know, great cast of co-hosts over the years. You know, and clearly, like, it hasn't been without some sadness. You know, we lost Dave Station, and that was painful. It was really, really painful. I think the whole VR community felt that loss, and you know, clearly he was, you know, just an amazing friend to me and AJ. So,
man, shout out Dave Station, dude. Thinking about you today, dude.
Absolutely, man. You know, I did not have the relationship that you guys had, but every single time I ever gamed with Dave, he was just such a kind, caring person and so much fun. So it was really, it was a hard thing. So shout out to Dave.
Yeah. Shout out indeed. And, you know, luckily he was involved with PSVR Without Parole, and, you know, he's immortalized in a way, right, throughout all of that content, which is kind of cool. Something I think about sometimes, you know, it's like we're all participating in this like really weird thing where like basically every single house has turned into like a movie television production set, you know, like maybe not to the extent that we have, but like if you have a phone, you're a movie star, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's this really interesting age where like we're documenting so much more than has ever been documented before. Like I don't have a video that I can go and listen to of my dad just riffing with his buddies about the stuff that he liked, you know, but like one day I'll have children maybe, and they will have stuff like this that they can go back and listen to. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it will be around for a long time, and it will always be around in the fact that, like, whether you like it or not, Google is training like ridiculous, like all of YouTube is being used to train the AI that they have, like Gemini and all of the AI stuff that they have going on videos and information in general. So like, we are kind of being embedded into the artificial intelligence future as well. That's kind of coming up. You know what I mean? That who knows what will happen in the future. But yeah, man, we are all embedded in this now for sure.
Well, that's kind of what's the word? It's unnerving to know that Google has a weird AI version of me that they're collecting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, OpenAI is trained a lot on YouTube as well. So you know, it is what it is. We are part of Skynet now.
Yeah. Thanks, PD.
Can I just say how jealous I am of your actual studio? Like, I mean, you know, I know it's a green screened room, but like, you played those earlier clips. My bedroom used to be, you know, my YouTube studio. I'm living in a 450 square foot apartment, right? So it's like everything's on top of itself here, and my entire bedroom was a YouTube studio. Which as soon as the pandemic rolled around, I was like, well, no one's coming over anymore. Like, we're doing this stuff all digital. And so I got my bedroom back, and it was nice, like really nice.
Yeah.
But I look forward to the day where, you know, I get back to this human interaction stuff. And it was a dream of me and AJ's and Dave's to have Without Parole Studios, like have a place here in Worcester, Mass, where like we all, you know, came to work every day and actually sat in the same room, and you know, somebody's over here like, you know, doing a live stream, and somebody's over here scripting a breaking news video, and like I'm over there doing a review, and like just a place where we all actually physically work in the same place. And I haven't let go of that dream. It's not any closer today than it was 5 years ago. So maybe one day, man. Maybe one day.
Yeah. And, you know, shout out to Mass, too. I mean, I spent the first half of my life in Massachusetts. Love it over there. Love Boston. Love the state of Massachusetts. So that's pretty rad. It is pretty green over here.
It's very green over here.
I might as well, since this is the last day in this studio, I might as well just kind of show a little bit.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can just kind of do this, and you can kind of see some green here, right? But it's the entire room around us is all green, including the ceilings and the floors.
You can see the back of Skiva's monitor right here.
Yeah.
It has green tape on it, so it disappears in the shot.
Yeah, never really shown this on purpose before, so it does kind of pop up every once in a while by accident. But yeah, no, I you know, so things will be a little different in the next one. So me and Alex used to film a lot of things for like Behaptics, and we did a lot of different things with mixed reality, and we had tracked cameras, you know, tracked and live the mixed reality software, and we used to make cool stuff. But really, we've just kind of been focusing on this and work. So all of this green, you know, maybe I can heal the green cones in my eyes again, because right now, man, there's a lot of green. And I don't have a living room. This is my living room.
But I gotta say, like, while, like, yes, I really like the aesthetic of our show. I like being in a green screened environment. Like, it works for us. Like, I do see stuff like your old Midnight Games cast, and it's like with like the background, which is just like an epic collection of video games, you know, or like a cool neon sign that some company sent you or whatever. Like, that stuff looks really good in shots. And sometimes I wish that we were like an actual room where we weren't green screened in, you know, and like we could have all that kind of stuff in the background. But you know, here we are.
Yeah.
So can I don't know if this is like too inside baseball, but like, is this in either one of your houses? I don't know, like where your studio is located. Is it in one of your houses?
Yeah.
You have a place that you guys go? Yeah.
It's in my house. This is my living room. in Arizona.
doesn't have a couch.
I do not. I don't own a couch. I am 100% committed to all of this stuff. And my kid is like, Dad, someday can we have like a living room with a couch? Like,
no, you don't get that. No, you'll have a green screen and you'll like it.
Yeah, she will like it.
No, put on this headset and go play.
I'll tell you what. That girl was years ago was a natural content creator.
Yeah.
Like you were making YouTube videos with her when she was like 5 or 6 or something, and she was crushing it on the mic.
Yeah, for sure. She's funny, and she knows. She grabs headsets. She knows all of the headsets. If a new headset shows up, she'll stop and be like, oh, "What is that? I need to try that." And she'll put it on, and she'll be like, "I like this a little bit more than the Quest has smaller FOV." She's like 9. You know what I mean? So it's pretty wild, and she's like well versed in like artificial intelligence. She'll go on Midjourney and just crush it. She knows all the commands. Like
makes all these awesome pictures.
Yeah, she does. It's pretty funny. So yeah, dad life.
Wow. That's cool.
But yeah, this is my house. So
I'm trying to train Tornado, but she just doesn't seem interested.
Is that an animal?
Keep working on it.
It's my cat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you would be a cat guy. Yeah. Were you a cat guy before Gamecats, or did it happen because of Gamecats, right? Like you're like, well,
I've always been a cat guy, and everyone always made fun of me that like I didn't have a cat. And like it's like you're one of the Gamecats. How do you not have a cat? And I'll tell you if I didn't know that I was gonna love Tornado as much as I do. Like I didn't think I was gonna. I didn't understand pets because growing up we had fish.
Yeah.
We never had a dog or a cat or like an actual something you could snuggle with. And when I got Tornado, it was like, holy crap. Like I talked to her, right? She comes up to me and like we rub noses and give kisses and stuff. I'm like, she's a part of me. I didn't realize that this was something that happens when you have pets. And it's like growing up, people would like, oh, my dog died. I'd be like, oh, so what?
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was like a member of the family. It was like another person. So like, I feel like Tornado like opened up another part of me where like I understand the human race just a little bit better than I did before.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, I love cats. It's very ironic that my favorite animal I'm allergic to.
Yeah.
Because I would 100% absolutely have a cat. I used to have this cat it was technically the neighbor's cat, but he lived in my backyard. And I got to hang out with him there, and I would just go wash my hands real quick. But man, I love that cat so much. It figures.
Yeah.
I wish I could have a cat.
Cats are good. I like cats because most of the time they have the same personal boundaries as humans.
Yep.
Like when I meet a person, I don't go and like get in their face and like jump on them and lick them and all that, like dogs do.
Yeah.
Dogs don't have like that sense of like personal boundary. Like they will just come crashing into your energy. But a cat will be like, hey, they'll like introduce themselves from a distance and like leave and like slowly acclimate, and they're like, is this okay? Are we at this place now? They like they respect my boundaries, and I appreciate that. You know, dogs annoy me for that reason. They don't respect my boundaries.
I do like dogs too, but cats.
I like
cats
them.
pretty awesome.
If I was going to own one,
there are people who have the similar boundaries as dogs. Those people drive me crazy. They run up to you and they're like, ah, and you're like, oh Jesus, it's 5 feet.
For the record, I am a dog, so be careful when you meet me.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I will. I'm gonna fucking tackle you, bro. So you better be ready for it.
Listen, are you coming to PAX East?
Well, maybe now.
Oh man, so the problem.
Gamecat Meetup 2024, guys, come on.
I know. The problem with PAX East is it is in part of GDC. Right.
Yeah.
You're going to GDC. I'm going to GDC. We have a booth we're running there. Like, and it really bums me out because for no other reason than that meetup. Like, I really, really want to go to PAX East. We go to PAX West, so I feel like the expo itself, isn't what really. But the people is always what gets me to an expo.
Yeah.
And I really want to go, but man, I wish it didn't overlap GDC.
Yeah. That's March for you, bro.
I know. Everything's in March. Like everyone in the world conspired, and they're like, let's make all the expos in March.
Also something that I have on my head that I just need to say quickly. Quick shout out to Buck3131. He actually lost his cat last week.
Yeah,
and it was
you're
like devastating.
Yeah.
And he like was really struggling with that. And just like my heart goes out to him. And I was thinking about him while we were having this conversation. So shout out Buck. He's a good dude.
And Yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna give us an update and be like, "In this week, he found the cat." I was like, I was waiting for the update to be. Oh wow, this is heartbreaking.
Yeah. He lost his cat, like we lose family members. Passed on. So.
And if we're giving shout outs, I just want to give a couple shout outs. I just want to say to everyone who's lost someone recently, because there are 3 off the top of my head of people that have lost people close to them. You know who you are. Some of you are in chat. Much love to you guys. We're always here. Ping us if you need us. So
yeah, it is amazing how, kind of like what Brian was saying earlier, like this community, like really is almost a support system in a lot of ways,
for sure.
Like
it's a big family.
It is, someone loses someone and it affects us all, like Buck loses his cat and it affects me, like other people are losing dear family members and that's affecting me, we've had like Dave Station or Dark Angel, she passed on part of the VR community, and it's like, like it's a good thing we're all here for each other, because sometimes this stuff gets heavy.
I know life gets extremely heavy, and I will tell you, people say this stuff, and I know you guys feel me here, that the VR community and my kid are the 2 things that have kept me alive in the past 5 years of absolute insanity, of life continually like coming up when you're not expecting it and just repeatedly kicking you in the balls. Do you know what I'm saying? Like life gets really hard, and this community is what like has kept me going, and it just continually blows me away all the time, and how amazing everyone is. So thank you guys. When I say I love you guys, like I truly mean it. So much love.
I don't want to harp on about this too long, but like, and I don't know if I've shared this with anybody, but like, some of my friends in Discord, but I knew Dark Angel from having played games during meetups and stuff, but not, just the name. That was it. Dark Angel was just a name that I saw a lot in our chat and games and stuff. And I think it was about like a week before she passed, she'd hit me up and said, "Hey, do you have time to like just have a video chat?" And I said, "Sure." Like I was confused, like why, and then we got on a call on Discord, and it was like 2 or 3 hours long, like somebody I'd never actually talked to one-on-one before. And we talked a lot about the meetup and said, "Oh, here are our goals, things we want to do, like lose weight and, get reacclimated to society and, not be a nervous wreck when we show up," right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I barely left my apartment in 4 years, right? Like I have a panic attack every time I leave. And so this was some of the stuff I talked about with her. And I got the call being like, wow, that was fascinating. I don't know why that call happened, but it was amazing. And then like a week later she passed, and I was like, holy crap, like that, like I'm not a big religious person, right? Like I don't really believe in God, but I do believe that like things happen for a reason,
Wow,
like,
that's like some
everything
goosebumps.
kind of falls in place. And I feel so fortunate that I was able to get to know somebody, I mean, technically very, very last minute, before I didn't have a chance to.
Wow.
Man, she really was just an amazing person. She always lit up the room when she came in. We hung out a lot in Resonate and VR chat, with the Livinator and the whole squad. And she was just absolutely fantastic. Every time I heard her voice, I smiled.
Yeah, I see the Rec Room avatar with like the fairy like wings and stuff. Like that's what I see in my head when like because I'm pretty sure that's like my first interaction with her was in Rec Room, and I like saw the avatar. And it's like, yo, what up? Because we recognized the name, and maybe she had seen Between Realities before, but like that was my first time like connecting with her. So yeah, I'm grateful for that, right? And I think that's what I'm getting from you here, Paul. Is like you're grateful to have had that opportunity, and like yes, it's all heavy. Totally sucks when we lose people, right? But like I try to be grateful, like I try to be like, okay, wait a second, no, I got to connect with that person, like I'm not gonna forget them, So I'm looking for the silver lining in all of it. You know what I mean? For
sure, man. We'll it's inevitable. We will all meet up again.
Indeed. So, hey, by the way, I mentioned that, earlier I was like struggling with some VR stuff. Mm-hmm. I didn't even say it all because I played a little bit of the Contractor Showdown beta this morning. And while I definitely enjoyed it, I was really struggling to get into games. like I would like queue up and it would like fade to black and then pull me back into the main menu again. And there was one time when I was in the pregame lobby and the match was about to start, and then it boots everybody to the intro loading screen, and we could all still hear each other, and it was weird.
I mean, as we know, though, this is why these betas exist.
It's in beta, yes.
Right. They're like, things are going to break. We have to figure out before they launch what's going to break and how we're going to fix it. So props to them for doing this, right? Because they did closed alphas. They opened it up a little bit more. They did closed betas, and now they're doing open alphas. And this game is very ambitious, right? They made it even more ambitious. It was 45 people, and now they've brought it up to 60 people.
Wow.
Per map. It's like, and the map is absolutely massive. And there's all kinds of customization and different weapons and leveling systems. And this, I honestly believe, will be the game of 2024, going into 2025.
I'm excited.
That, between Showdown and Ghost of Tabor, man, it's just like, I am in heaven.
Yeah, I want to play more. It was a little frustrating getting kicked to the lobby so often, but I was just thinking to myself, like, this is par for the course. Like this week I've been having, having difficulty getting into stuff, but I'm pretty stoked about it. Brian, have you had a chance to get in there at all? Or I know it's coming to PlayStation, isn't it?
It is, but the beta is obviously, sorry, sirens on my end. I'm sure most people anticipated hearing that at least once today. If they do any PSVR2 betas, I'll definitely get in on that, because I actually really love battle royales. About a year and a half, I took a break from VR altogether because I just needed to clear my brain. And I played Fortnite for a month. I'd never played it before, and I just sit PlayStation 5, Fortnite, like every day for like hours, and I just got super into it. And I was like, man, why don't they have this kind of stuff in VR? And clearly there's like Population 1 and stuff, but like that's why I'm definitely looking forward to some PSVR2 games like this. Showdown has my name written all over it when it finally gets here.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed my time in there. I wish I was better, man. Like, I need to shoot stuff more often.
Practice makes perfect.
My skills are a little rusty, and I used to be a killer. Like, I was a killer.
I know you. It must sting.
I hate it. I hate it.
I know that you're the most competitive person that I know, so it must really sting.
It does sting. I hate. I'm like fumbling, just like trying to like drop the clip out of the gun, like it drops. Like, oh! Yeah, but I'd like to re-achieve my killer status. I want to be a killer again.
Well, you can. You just got to get in there, man. You got to get in there and do it. And you are just a good gamer, so you will pick it back up a lot faster.
Thanks. Thanks for
than most people normally would. I just like to get in there. See, we're very, very opposite in our gaming style. I like to go in, mess around with my friends. The game is secondary to me. I just like to hang out and be in that world with my friends and laugh and joke around, get some occasional kills. But I know you're like, no, shut up.
Yeah, everybody shut up. Let's communicate about this game right now. I definitely take things a little seriously from time. Where do you land, Brian? Are you more of a social? Are you more competitive?
I mean, I love the social aspect, but I actually think I think that game design has gotten really skewed recently toward being like, hey, we just wanted to give you a cool place to hang out with your friends. And I said it like that because that's exactly how I hear the meetings going at End Dreams when they come up with the concept for Ghostbusters, right? Because it's not a fun game, but man, kids, like little kids, squeakers, right? They love going in there and busting ghosts with their friends. It's like, yeah, this is so great. But they're just goofing off with their friends. It's a terrible game. Right? And so I'm a little worried that like that's where game design is going. Like, oh, we just want to give you a social space to hang out with your friends and do some cool stuff. And I'm like, no. I need BioShock. Like, I need a well-crafted story and a well-crafted world and like riveting things to do during my 10 hours in there. So I'm a little bit concerned. However, there is absolutely a place for all of this, right? Rec Room was a blast with your friends.
Absolutely. And you can play games in Rec Room, right? Like that to me, I wouldn't be taking a game of paintball in Rec Room all that seriously. I'm going to be yucking it up, having a good time, chucking grenades, whatever, But if I'm playing a game where it's like actually a game that requires strategy to win, like for me, like hanging out with my friends, just playing that game is worthwhile. Like I get so much out of that interaction that we don't need to be catching up about our days. It's like I would prefer that we are communicating strictly about this thing, and like we become like I said earlier, like gears kind of working together. You know, it's one of the reasons why I love MMORPGs, because the RPG aspect is really taken seriously. Like you are playing a role on this team, and if you don't carry your weight, we will all fail. Like I love that. Like I love not only being depended on, but being able to depend on my homies to do the thing that I just simply cannot do because of the class that I've picked or whatever. So it's like, if you're a healer and you don't heal and you fail, like the whole party dies, you know? And like that to me is where it's at. Like I love that level of interaction with my experiences, and whether it's a cooperative experience where we're like in a dungeon together, you know, or we're working together against those guys who are also working together, that level of like cooperation just gets me going, you know? So to your point, Brian, like I also worry about that. Like I want the games to be deep and have strategy, and I want to be able to sink my teeth into it a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Is it Farmer True VR in the chat? Asking when the last time I played Ghostbusters VR was. Dude, I want that game to be good so bad that every time an update comes out, I jump right in. I gotta check out this new game mode. Hopefully it's delivers something good. Slimer's Ghost Hunt. That was the most recent one, I think. And I jumped in, and Miles and I laughed it up, and we're like, oh, look at the new costumes. Oh, the new costumes are funny. And then we did Slimer's Ghost Hunt, and we're like, this is still terrible. So trust me, I understand why people like to jump in and have fun with their friends. But as far as me and what I'm looking for in a game, it's not delivering it. But I desperately want it to be something that I want to play. Because End Dreams, dude, what an amazing success story when it comes to VR, right? You usually see studios like Survios, who you think are going to be the next big VR studio, and they start their quality starts dwindling over time, you know. And End Dreams has sort of gone. I think I guess they've just always been quality, regardless of if the game's too long or too short or whatever they're doing. They've always made quality products. And why are we talking about this? Ghostbusters. Yeah. And so that's why Ghostbusters kind of threw me for a loop, because I was like, oh, no matter what's, you know, like no matter the length of the game or what, I bet it's going to be fun because these guys know fun. And this was, I think, the very first misstep that they've had in years.
That game really shocked me because exactly what you said. End Dreams makes quality, and Synapse was one of my all-time favorite VR games. I have never felt so much like I had superpowers. It's never been so convincing to me to be able to like actually grab someone and throw them across the room. Like it just felt so good, and it felt so real, and the mechanics were incredible. Sure, it was a little bit short, but like I still got way more. I got incredible value out of that game with how much I played it because of how good it was. There are other games were like that too. I really liked really everything they've done, but Ghostbusters came in and it was extremely mediocre at best. I mean, not even mediocre, right? It was pretty terrible, and it was really it was a bummer because it was a great studio and it was a great IP, and then it was kind of garbage. And the bummer about it was like during the tutorial, they almost made you feel like it was going to be a good game. Like you're going through this house and you're like, you know, you're using your I can't remember what the name of the tool is, but like the tutorial was really good. And then you get into the game and it was a bummer.
Meter?
Yeah, yeah, that's the one.
Did I just make that up? EKG, is that the heart rate thing? I don't know.
EEG.
EEG?
No, that's a brain scan.
Oh, something meter.
Somebody in the chat is going to correct us in a second.
For sure.
I'm such a big Ghostbusters fan that the fact that I'm doubting myself right now is a little.
I love Ghostbusters, and that's what makes it worse for people that really love the IP, right? And like you said, they keep doing these updates. The problem is like, this foundation for a house has to be solid, and you can continue to build something nicer and more beautiful on top of a broken, decaying foundation. But
can't perfume on a pig.
Correct. That is exactly right. What is on that foundation will crumble if the foundation is not good, and that game just does not have a great foundation to it. So they can put all the Slimers in there and stuff now that they want, and it's just not going to improve the gameplay, which is really too bad, because wielding, running around capturing ghosts and throwing out the traps and sucking them in was a dream for me. Like, I loved Ghostbusters, and I still do. The new movies are incredible. and I can't wait for this next one to come out. The one with the grandkids. Oh my God, I loved it. So anyway,
chat showed up.
I'm down for the new one. I mean, listen, I think maybe we can all admit to ourselves that Ghostbusters 2, as much as we might have loved it as kids, not the greatest movie, right? I'm constantly thinking of that little baby standing on the edge of the scaffolding of the building, right? And just being, and then Vigo, the Carpathian, comes riding in on. No, it wasn't even Vigo. It was the assistant, the museum assistant, like the ghost version, comes riding in like Wizard of Oz on a ghostly bicycle, picks the kid up and goes ha 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 and takes it away. I'm like, what is going on? This is not a good movie, but like as kids we all loved it, right? We're like, oh, there's a sequel to like one of our favorite movies ever. Go back and watch Ghostbusters 1, amazing. Ghostbusters 2, I mean, I still love it, but it's not a very good movie.
It's very nostalgic, yeah. And
then Ghostbusters, what was it, 2016? The female cast?
I forget that one even exists. I forget that one even exists. But when they brought it back with the grandkids, it was really, really good, I thought.
Right, but then the reboot, whatever it was, it paid homage to the original cast and all of that, and I thought it was well done, but like, man, I wanted to re-edit that movie myself because it was so close to being awesome, and instead it's like dragged here and there, and like I thought it was a little too family friendly, right? They could have made all of the ghostly stuff that happened at the beginning and the end, they could have made it a little creepier instead of adding that music that made it sound like, oh, this is cute. Sorry, I'm way too critical about this stuff that I love.
You guys are old. I'm figuring this out. You guys are old.
Man, you know, I do think they could have made it better. Yeah. But I do think they could have made it better. But I think maybe it was because of the 2016 one. After that, this past it just seemed so good to me, right? And I really did enjoy it, and I can't wait for the next one.
Well, on our last episode of Between Realities, we talked a little bit about like big IPs like having a responsibility for making a good game, right? And you know, I don't want to have that conversation again, but just shout out to the conversation from the last episode, and we basically came to the conclusion that if you're using a big IP, you better be making a good game, you know, like, because people are going to buy it without even trying it. And it's important to make sure that VR is being painted in a good light.
It is. And I don't know why we're surprised by this, because growing up being gamers, we always knew that when a movie was turned into a game, that it was going to be garbage.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, it was almost always like that. There are definitely things that broke that rule, but for the most part, you're like, oh, it's a movie game, it's going to be terrible. And the same is happening now. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're taking some of these big IPs like Stranger Things and Ghostbusters, and they're just not. But the thing with Ghostbusters was it was in dreams, and it still doesn't make sense to me what happened there. Right? I think Sony just had too much control, maybe. I don't know. I wish I was a fly on the wall in those meetings.
I guess I'm curious then, like, which, other than like the bangers, right? Like, other than GT7 and Resident Evil, like, what are the games? You know, like, if somebody is on the fence about a PSVR2, like, what are the 3 games that you're like, this will give you the value that you're looking for out of this headset, other than the bangers and the obvious ones? I don't want to hear GT7, but like, you know, like Legendary Tales is one that people talk about often. You know, one of those like deeper cuts.
Oh man, this is tough. I mean, like, it's crazy because, you know, we can talk about Synapse and you know, even though I'm like, yeah, it's repetitive and you have to play through it 3 times to actually completely beat it, and there was no final boss, and you know, the mid boss was just something that was just a character, like an enemy you hadn't seen yet. And I was like, there's so many problems with it. However, it's the kind of game that you want to show people and you want to have them experience, and because it delivers on this, like, this type of power fantasy. Like, as a kid, I always wanted to be telekinetic, right? I also wanted to freeze time, like that girl in Out of This World.
Dude, you know that show? What? You're the only one that's ever said anything about that. Sorry. That's awesome.
It's just going to be me and Skeever from here on out. Alex.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
You can go take a nap or something. We've got this covered. But like, I would sit in class and just go. try to freeze time, and so, you know, you always have like this dream of being like special, and Synapse makes you feel special. It makes you feel like, oh my god, I can pick up this dude and throw him, like I can catch a grenade in the air before it gets to me. I can catch it in the air and throw it back, like it does it all so seamlessly, where once you kind of get acclimated to it, you're just like, I do have these powers. And so I think that's something you want to show, show other people. You want to show the people who play VR, don't play VR, because you can't do that on the flat screen, and not in any kind of way that makes you feel like you're doing it. And so I think that's an important title for that reason alone.
Nice. Yeah, I could not agree more, actually.
Same.
And
One of my favorites.
Again, this is something that we talked about on our last episode. These things just keep coming up, but it's the eye tracking. Like, it's the fact that it's a developer that actually integrated eye tracking into the gameplay and did it well, because that's what gives you that feeling of having the powers. You just glance at something, like it's just your eyes. Your eyes shift from one side of the room to the other, and now you're in control, and it's just so sick. It feels amazing.
Yeah.
So definitely don't sleep on Synapse. What would you say, Skiva, if I asked you that question?
Fabster in the chat coming out with Evie Garland, naming the... Wow. Oh, man. Dude. Wow. I have a couple of those episodes saved on an old hard drive. I'm totally going to rewatch those later. Man, what a blast in the past. Sorry, I did not expect this to come.
I legit watched the first 3 minutes of the pilot episode recently, because this kind of came up in voice chat. And I was like, I wonder if these episodes have held up. The answer is... no, but just like Ghostbusters 2, I will watch it again anyway.
Oh, heck yeah, absolutely. But to get back on track, I suppose, man, I gotta
go wherever you want, man.
No, but I do have to say that, even though so we got companies like IGN that are pooping all over PSVR, but the fact of the matter here is it's not really PSVR. The whole gaming industry as a whole is going through a little bit of a collapse right now. Of course, VR is in there, and it's gonna have some effect on that, right? But I do want to say, me personally, I have 110% gotten my money out of my PSVR 2, because if I think back, even all the way to the PSVR 1, the most memorable games I have ever played have been on the PlayStation VR platform, right? I mean, even most recently, Resident Evil 4 Remake was one of the best games I have ever played. And I have a hard time in horror because it, like, in VR, because it really affects me. Like, I really legitimately get scared. But I've gone through Resident Evil 4 Remake. I've gone through Resident Evil 8 from start to finish, like, thinking I was going to die of a heart attack. But I got through it, and I wanted more, because these games, you just can't get them on any other console. So for me, some of the greatest bangers in the world are on PSVR 2 and on PSVR 1. So I would buy this headset again and again, and I would never have a problem telling anyone else to buy it. So,
but like, what game outside of those bangers am I going to be able to like love? Is what I want to know.
Well, outside of bangers, that's like saying outside of good games.
No, but here's the point. The point is,
a second. Like I think there's a perception problem. Right? Too many people are saying, oh, outside of a couple of exclusives and a couple of games that Sony funded, what else is there? And I got to tell you, as you already know, but I'll repeat for the people in the back. The Quest version of Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution is trash. Yep. Sorry, it looks terrible. It looks like a broken indie game. Like, it looks like something that just didn't come together. Interactions are garbage. Only a couple enemies on the screen at a time. And then you play that on PSVR 2, and it is night and day. It is the sharpest game on the system for some reason. Like, it just, like, boom. Like, you want to see proper high-res games on PSVR 2? Play Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. White Moon Dreams did an insane job of porting that over. It's stunning. The VRAF elements are amazing. Like, that... So you can, people can say all day long, oh, it's just a bunch of games on Quest, a bunch of games from PC. Yeah, but we get the best versions by far, to the point where I don't want to play Retribution on a Quest. I just don't. It's bad.
Yeah.
On PSVR 2, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, for so many reasons.
It is. So The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, absolutely phenomenal. Switchback, amazing. The best version of No Man's Sky VR. Yeah, even I spent $3,000 on my PC, and the PSVR 2 version of that game is better. Like, I continue to upgrade my PC to try to get No Man's Sky VR to run really good, and PlayStation's like, here you go. You'll never have it better than this. You know what I mean? It's really, really good. Dude, the Star Wars game, Tales to the Galaxy's Edge, was garbage on the Quest. absolute trash. I couldn't get through the first level. It was so bad. And I played it on the PSVR2, and I did not stop except to sleep until I beat that game. And then I went back and replayed my favorite levels. Like, that game is so freaking good. Obviously, there's Gran Turismo 7. There's Resident Evil 8. There's the games that we have on other platforms like Moss. There's After the Fall has a phenomenal version on there. Pistol Whip's great. Dude, Synth Riders. How is Synth Riders so much better on PSVR 2? Like the HDR screens in a game like Synth Riders, just like, it just looks amazing. It is some of the best eye candy I think I've ever seen. I got to tell you, Zombieland Headshot Fever on the PSVR 2, one of the best VR games ever. Don't play it on the Quest if you have a PCVR, if you have a PSVR, because that version by far is leaps and bounds better than anything else. Nice. It is absolutely phenomenal, and I will continue to go back into that game over and over again. And I have it on all the other platforms. I have it on Steam VR, and I have a banger of a machine, and I have it on Quest. But that game on PSVR 2 was completely remastered for that console, and it is phenomenal. Nice. Right? The pixel ripped games, even older games like Res Infinite or Hubris. Dude.
Oh, dude.
Hubris on PSVR.
Res Infinite and Tetris Effect. I mean, like, took an already amazing, immersive visual spectacle and just blew the doors off and made it even more of a visual spectacle. And not to mention the haptics in the headset that are boom, boom, boom. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, so it seems like, and you know, anytime I've had an option to like take a game, like, you know, a developer's like, hey, okay, do you want it for Quest or PC or PlayStation VR 2? I always take the PSVR 2 mainly because of the headset haptics. That's in like the controller haptics, because that's like a completely separate edition that you can only get with that headset. So I usually do go for that. But are there any games that the PlayStation VR 2 version like isn't the best one to play it on? You know, like,
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what, maybe like Vertigo or something, like Vertigo 2, yeah, like
Hellsweeper.
Oh yeah,
Hellsweeper. When Hellsweeper came out, it was like, I mean, just PSVR 1. No, like bad PSVR 1 graphics. I mean, it was just like low res. It was pixelated. It was bad, you know. And they gradually improve it. We should be getting one more patch anytime now. That like brings it up to like PC VR quality, nice. Like dynamic foveated rendering. But like that was a bad port, and we definitely got Albert reminds us in the chat about Zenith. So I mean, like they happen. They certainly happen, but they're few and far between. And as more people get used to using dynamic foveated rendering and understanding how that works with Unreal and Unity, we're going to see far less bad ports and far more Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 retributions.
Shout out to Gamertag VR. He's here with us in the chat.
What's up, GT?
A little old Darth is here with us in the chat.
Hey.
Rudel Zavedno is here. You know, Amelia Faust slid in. She's a part of the show.
Hey,
now.
what's up, Amelia?
We got Azure Wrath here. Little Elvert, who I know has been participating in the chat.
Immersed Robot.
Yep, Immersed Robot Gary. Nice. Yep, he's our dude right there.
Nice.
Yeah, classic Between Realities episode with Gary Walkden. If you want to go back in the catalog.
Oh heck yeah.
Duggars K and Hussein X and Mateo 311.
Man,
thanks for coming in. Paradise Decay. I know you were here at the beginning, but hello again.
Great people. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it
too. Thanks.
Man, now all I want to do is go put on my PSVR, and because I'm moving, I packed it up yesterday. It was one of the very last things I packed, because I'm like, as soon as I put this in a box, I'm gonna want to play it.
I was wanting to play Zenith, but now I'm like the wind has been taken out of my sails a little bit, you know. Like, I mean,
you played Ancient Dungeon?
Ancient Dungeon I have played, yeah, but not on PSVR 2, just on PC.
Oof. For a game that uses, you know, voxel art style, like it's supposed to be retro looking, it looks so next gen somehow with the resolution and the you know, the OLED panels, and you know, darks look dark and everything's super sharp and frame rates blistering. The haptics when you're just like, you know, cutting down vines. That is like that. I think that's the first. Is it the first 10 out of 10 I gave for PSVR 2? No, it can't be.
What?
But no, I am in love with Ancient Dungeon.
Wow.
In love. Just when I was getting sick of roguelite games. I was like, okay, no more. Please, for the love of God, no more roguelites. And then Ancient Dungeon shows up and I go, okay, one more. This is amazing.
Dang, that is pretty good. I mean, I liked it and I enjoyed it. Didn't they add multiplayer to that game? Is it have multiplayer in it?
Not on PSVR2 yet, but it is coming. Okay. I know that on other platforms it's either out or in beta, and I think it's 3-player multiplayer, and I can't wait to have an excuse to dive back in and play that.
That would get me in there, because I felt alone and scared playing that game, and I wanted a friend.
It's like scary Minecraft.
GT paid €2 to ask this question. Hey, shout out GT. He said, ask Brian how long it takes him to grow a beard.
That's a weird question.
What are you talking about?
That he was clean shaven before the show.
Yeah, I mean, as we start, you can, if you fast forward the show, you can watch it grow like in real time. Yeah. No, I mean, like for real though, like this is less than a week. I don't think I'm going to shave until the Gamecat meetup. I'm just going to like.
Nice,
big bushy beard.
That's nice. I'm always jealous of like just a glorious grizzled beard, you know?
Dude, right? Yeah,
don't be.
I agree.
Oh my god, if I could just have a clean shaven face every single day without having to worry about it, like if I just couldn't grow a beard, oh my god, I'd be the happiest dude.
I don't get either.
However, this extends all the way down though. Yeah, I'm just a hairy dude.
Well, I'm not, GT, but I have
too much information.
I have to shave my face still every day. Like, I can't grow the full beard, and I also can't not shave. I'm like,
oh dang, you're just screwed right in the middle.
Yeah, I'm like like forever adolescent.
Wow. Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, it is.
There's some creepers out there that would probably appreciate that.
Yeah, a lot of people think I'm a few years younger than I am. Maybe that wouldn't be the case if I had some dirty old beard up on my face.
Man, you hang out with Roots too much, so you'll never be on. Very few people will be on the Roots level of beard.
There's a lot of good beards out there, bro. But Wes is here. He's in chat, and he's my clean shaven homie. Me and Wes will be babyface forever, right, dude?
What a good dude. Wes is such an amazing guy.
Yeah, if he doesn't have a beard by now, he ain't gonna. You know what I mean?
I do.
Amazing.
I do.
Amazing.
Man, I can't believe we are there.
Yeah,
this is so sad. I feel like I've waited a long time to tell you this one thing, but so I just have to say it, even though it's gonna be awkward. I think you have maybe the best YouTube voice I've ever heard. And if PSVR Without Parole doesn't work out, just make some of those videos where you're like, okay, just close your eyes and relax.
You want me to make ASMR videos?
ASMR.
Wow. Holy moly. Yeah, I will tell you this. I've had this voice since I was 12. Like it's been just weirdly deep. My brother has the exact same voice. My dad has the exact same voice. My mom would call home. On the families, remember when we had family home phone lines? My mom would call home if she was out, and I would answer the phone. She'd have no idea which one of us she was talking to of the three.
That's wild.
You want to hear an even wilder story? I've been a waiter for most of my life. I always waited tables, and I walked up to this nice couple, and I introduced myself, and they said, Do you know this person? And they gave me a name, and I was like, yeah, that's my brother. And they said, yeah, he DJ'd our wedding. You have the exact same voice as him. Just randomly.
Wow.
Just random people that I met for no reason whatsoever recognized that I was the brother of the person who DJ'd their wedding because of our voices. It was the strangest thing.
That's amazing.
Craziness.
That's amazing. Yeah. And hey, dude, I also, career server, until I got into all this VR stuff, I took tables for 10 plus years. So
I think it's important. I think it's really important. I think you develop skills and ways to talk to people that you don't know, in ways that you just can't any other way. If you don't wait tables for 2 years of your life, at least minimum. I mean, I did it maybe 20, so I think I overstayed my welcome. But I think if you don't do it, then you're missing out on some really important skills to have in life. Very important.
I think the majority of the podcasting skills come straight out of taking tables and knowing how to hold a conversation and steer it in a direction that you want it to go, because as a server, I crafted my skills. I had it down to a T. I had my opening. I knew how I was weaving you into every aspect of your dining experience. I'm explaining all the best things because I want you to order those things, because if you order the thing that I don't like on the menu, then I can't guarantee that you're going to have a good experience. So I'm really focusing how I'm approaching that thing, and I have taken all those skills into interviewing people 100%. It has really translated. And also, I want to say shout out to PD. I missed a super chat from him earlier. He did say for €2, he said, "Siren's my end." Hey, that's for you, baby.
Right on.
That's for you.
Hey, listen, I know you're the host. I'm not good at not being the host, so I want to ask a question to you guys before we start wrapping this thing up. If that's okay.
Please.
Absolutely.
The first year of PlayStation VR 1, I think, was rough. We'd go months waiting for any new game, and sometimes we get a new game and it was like this $10 thing that was like just some throwaway experience or tech demo or something, or yet another wave shooter. But we all bought it and played it because we just loved it, right? And we weren't really thinking too much about the potential. We just wanted to get everything that we get our hands on. Meanwhile, the PlayStation VR 2's had an amazing first year with 4 times as many games, and I think we came out of the gate with 4 times as many games. It was crazy, but now, when we look at the industry and we see all the things that are happening, and certain things don't seem as certain as they used to. What do you feel like the potential is for PSVR 2? Do you? And I guess I mean that in a couple ways. Very easy question, nice easy question over the plate is what games are you most excited for? But also, do you think that Sony's going to really throw their support behind this at some point and show us that hybrid strategy? Are we going to get any more built from the ground up VR games? It's all speculation, but do you guys think that there's more potential here than people like the IGN author are seeing?
You want to go first?
So I'm going to say, with some inside knowledge involved, that I know there are some bangers coming to PSVR 2. Some really good games coming. I think we have not seen the last of good times in the PSVR 2 headset. I think what we're seeing, I think we see a lot of negativity because, like I said before, we are going through the first big lull in the gaming industry as a whole, right? And when budgets need to be cut, sometimes they take the things that are producing the least amount of money, and they cut some of those studios, like RIP, PlayStation London. It's really too bad. But I do think that there are a lot of games out there that are coming that are going to make a really big impact. Now, I will say too, just from having some insider knowledge, a lot of this stuff is on Sony too, because I know there's a lot of developers out there pounding on their door with incredible games and just have a hard time getting any kind of response. The support is terrible. A lot of this stuff is back-end issues with Sony just needing to be more responsive and stuff. But that being said, there are some really good games still coming. I think after we kind of the gaming industry as a whole kind of picks up the pieces a little bit from what's happening as a whole, I think we will see a resurgence of games, and I don't think the headset's dying like IGN says. I've almost lived my life thinking whatever IGN says, the opposite is actually true. I don't know how any of those guys have jobs. I can't figure out, do they do any research? Do they only write things that are clickbait? It's too bad because back in the day they were awesome and now they just suck. Not even with just VR stuff, even flat stuff. They're just all about the clicks and just controversial titles and stuff. And no matter how much damage it'll do the industry. So I do personally think we do have some good stuff still coming, and I am hoping that once gaming starts to pick back up in general, that PSVR 2 will see some good days.
For me, it's more of a hardware issue. There are good games. There are games that exist on other platforms, and maybe even better versions of those games that I could be playing on my PlayStation, but it's a hardware issue. I think the cable holds a lot of people back. I think there's a couple of aspects on this headset that already seem outdated because of the stuff that has come out since its release, Quest 3 and Apple Vision Pro primarily.
Yeah, but those can be...
Listen, I know.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
What did Quest 3 make feel outdated on PSVR 2?
Full color pass-through.
Oh my God, but it's the worst pass-through.
On the Quest 3?
When I move my arm, everything pulls with it and stuff. I'm like, come on now. Like, this is not what I'd call good. I wouldn't want to play a mixed reality game.
No,
with that pass-through. Oh my God.
No, I'm not saying it's good enough to play mixed reality, but it is good enough for when I put the headset on, I have this like really comfortable transition into VR experience where I can still see my room. I still feel connected. And it's honestly, after using my Quest 3, when I put my PSVR2 on and I saw the black and white pass-through, I was like, oh, geez. Like, this feels older. Period. It just feels older. And really what I want to get to is I want to compare it to PlayStation VR 1 because PlayStation VR 1, I bought my first one secondhand, bought it off of OfferUp for like $100, you know, and I was so stoked. But when I realized that they released a version 2 of that first headset, I was so excited because that headset was a dramatic improvement hardware-wise over the first one. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be so cool if there was like a version 2 that came out that just like addressed a couple of the big issues, you know, maybe make it a little more comfortable for more people, maybe add a full color pass through, potentially have a wireless adapter option or something like that. Like that kind of thing I think would help. But yeah, for me, it's more of a hardware issue than a software one.
You know, it's easy to look at the Quest and see how thin it is and to see the pancake lenses and go, oh man, you know, it makes the PlayStation 2 VR2 look older. But what I will say about it is you cannot have HDR with pancake lenses at this time, right? You cannot get the color and the vibrancy and the brightness out of a Quest 3. It's not possible. Right. So when I go into a game like Resident Evil 8 and I'm in a dark, scary house and the sun beams through the window and I'm literally squinting my eyes because of how bright the sun is, that is a level of immersion that I cannot get on the Quest 3. No matter how much I crank up my graphics and connect it to the PC, it's just not possible. But that being said, that has to come with Fresnel lenses and a little bit of a thicker and bulkier headset. I am super stoked that there is no link box with 47 cables coming out of it, like the PSVR 1. And it's one, totally. It's one USB-C cable, and the triggers and the head and like on the PSVR 2 controllers are absolutely phenomenal, and the head haptics are great. I think all that's missing personally is more games to continue to keep people excited, even though the ones they have are absolute bangers, and I've absolutely gotten my money's worth out of the headset. I don't personally think it's a hardware problem. I would love to see wireless, but
yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of like grabbing like the low-hanging fruit there, like. What I'm saying is very nuanced, you know, like I think there's a lot of like subtlety to this, you know, and like it doesn't take much to turn somebody off. It really doesn't, you know, like very true. They go in there and see one thing they don't like, and they're done, you know, so some of those things matter.
Yeah,
I agree. And I, you know, if anybody thinks I don't like my Quest 3, I got my Quest 3 and I was like, whoa, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. You know, I thought it was going to be a mild upgrade from Quest 2, and it's great, man. I played some Asgard's Wrath 2, and it was just like, you know, just the intro to kind of see what it all looked like and felt like. And I was like, this is shockingly close to, you know, to what we see on PSVR 2, mostly because I think Asgard's Wrath is really pushing Quest 3, and you know, and a lot of games aren't pushing PSVR 2 at the moment. But that doesn't matter when the quality of the games are so, you know, so similar. It's like, wow, it was really, I mean, I own the Quest 1, I own the Quest 2. This wasn't my first dive into the Quest ecosystem. I was just surprised by like what a massive step. I finally, for the first time, said, oh my God, I think standalone VR is now something that I consider viable. I didn't like most of the stuff on Quest 2 because it just felt so, you know, kind of cheap, and, you know, it couldn't compare to PSVR 1. For the first time, I think standalone is viable. And so if anybody thinks, oh, Brian just hates Quest because he's a PSVR 2 guy, like, no, like I'm thrilled that it's so comparable. Really happy because competition is great. And when we get games like Behemoth later in the year, that means all versions are going to look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, none of us are about to sell our PSVR2s. I think that is very obvious here. We're lucky that we're in a position where we can have Quests and PlayStation VRs and all these things, and be able to compare. And Brian, I think it's amazing that you have Quests, and honestly, I think it makes you a more responsible PlayStation creator because you have like this other stuff that is happening in the space that you can now draw comparisons to and all of that. So I think that's great.
My only gripe personally with the PSVR2 is for me, and this is very different from everyone. Like I keep saying, everyone's head and face is different, and that dramatically affects what you strap onto your head, right? So for me, the PSVR2 is not comfortable, and I have to do things to make it comfortable. That being said, I will go through happily all of my uncomforts for some of the amazing games that are on that headset.
Have you tried? The Globular Cluster just sent me a sample unit, which I haven't even taken out of the box yet. Everyone's raving about it, though.
I've heard great things.
I have heard great things too, and I went to order it and it was sold out. And now that was probably a couple weeks ago, so I'll have to go back and see if it's there. And if it is, I'm absolutely going to grab it because I've heard nothing but fantastic things. And if I can fix the comfort issues that I have with that headset, man, it's a banger.
Well, I'm not buying anything until I see the Without Parole review of the Globular Cluster. Okay?
Boom.
Give me a week or two. It's happening. I've got a bunch of accessories I need to cover.
Right.
Man, those Real Optics lenses, by think really good.
Real Optics is my freaking favorite. Being a creator, I get some stuff for free, but I think they've sent me 2 sets of Real Optics for free, but I've bought, I think, 5 pairs from them. Every headset that walks in this door that I think is worth anything, I immediately order some. I don't ping them like, hey, send me some, because they will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like sometimes when something's good, you want to give them your money. You're like, you are doing amazing things, and there's nothing more amazing to a glasses wearer than putting those prescription lenses in there, because when you move your headset around and your glasses go out of line with the IPD of the lenses themselves in the headset, you don't realize it, but it distorts the picture. And once you put in some Real Optics lenses in there, oh my God, and everything just lines up. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. The clarity is out of control. So
listen up, everybody.
Big fan.
This is great, okay? We could literally go for another 2 hours.
Oh, crap.
But
yeah,
we can't.
we're over time.
What are you doing next week?
Yeah, dude.
Let's just do it again.
Don't even tease me, bro, because honestly, this has been so rad. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've been sending you some DMs for some years now, and it's really, really awesome to finally have you on as a guest. And, we've been looking up to you guys on PSVR Without Parole for so long, and to be able to connect with you personally here like this is amazing. It really means a lot to us.
And just for clarification, anyone's like, oh, Brian's been leaving Alex on. Just to clarify, the last time he asked me, I think was PSVR2 launch week, and I was like, dude, I think I'm gonna be busy that week.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, that's no. Listen, we all have stuff, and he's got a show that goes on at the same time as ours, and that was like for the first year. So anyway, of course, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. Really just trying to express my gratitude and say that it means a lot to us that you joined us. We know that you are about to roll into your own podcast, so we're gonna let you do that. But really quick, you have any parting words for us before we get rid of you?
No, keep doing what you do. It's awesome, dude. Everyone's got opinions about different content creators, right? You can't swing a cat without hearing somebody say something positive or something negative about some other channel. When I told people I was going to be on your show, everybody was like, "Those guys are fucking awesome."
Nice.
Nothing but great words about both of you. And this was a long time coming. I've been meaning to make this connection, and just keep doing what you do. Everybody loves you, and dude, I think you're okay too.
We think you're okay, and everybody loves you. And thanks again, man. It means a lot. And now, seriously, now I'm eyeballing PAX, so maybe we'll come out and join the Gamecats for that.
Oh no, I got to brace for impact.
Dude,
I know I'm going to get it.
Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
For real.
So links in the description below. Click on them now, because those guys are about to go live, and watch for that Globular Cluster review that'll be out in about a week or so. Bryan Paul, PSVR2 Without Parole. Thanks again so much for being on the show today, man. Appreciate you. Bye. And just like that, he is gone forever.
He gone.
Wow. That was amazing.
What a great show.
Listen, y'all.
Dude, every time we I don't know, I just guess we just pick great guests, or so many people in this community and that work in VR are just awesome people.
Dude, you could cover your eyes and throw a dart at the board of VR peeps, and whoever it hits, man, is going to be somebody rad. Like, the VR community really is amazing, and we're lucky for that.
For real.
Thank you all so much for tuning into the live show today. I'm going to wrap this one up quick because we kind of went a little bit over. But if you were here in the chat today and you were with us live, we love you. Shout out to all the Gamecats who made it to Between Realities for the first time this week. Please like and subscribe. Shout out to the audio listeners catching us on Spotify or Anchor or whatever. And shout out to Upload VR for hosting this. Maybe you've watched this on Upload and you're sitting there on Upload, and we love you for that too. Have a great weekend, everyone. We may or may not be back next week. Stay tuned. Follow us on social media, and we'll tell you there.
Yeah, if we don't have an episode next week that we can pre-record to get on here, the following week we will have Kensei VR Gamer, Kensei Gaming VR on, who's a good friend of mine, someone I game with all the time, a genuinely amazing person, and very excited to chat with him.
Have an amazing weekend, everyone, and we will see you maybe next week, maybe the week after that, who knows, whatever, but we love you. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.